So, here's what's going on. Here's what's happening. I cannot sleep. And usually, when I can't sleep, I do a video like this, like I'm doing now, and sometimes I can just drift off afterwards. But I've tried, just cannot sleep. Fortunately for me, I don't have to be up really early tomorrow, or later this morning, I should say. So, like I said, maybe once I get all of this off my chest and off my mind, I'll be able to drift off and go to sleep. But by the time people hear this, unless you're a night owl or unless you can't sleep either, or you live in a different time zone than I do, you probably won't hear this for many hours. Uh, but by the time you do hear it, depending upon the time of day or whatever, um, the bear actually awoke, came out of hibernation, I guess you could say. I mean, maybe people say, oh, it's been out of hibernation for a while. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. They hit back pretty hard. They hit back pretty hard. So, I mean, even the New York Times reported on it. Not exactly sure why. Maybe it's because they want to, I don't know, make Russia to be the villain or whatever. Out to be the villain. I don't know, but the New York Times, BBC, CNN, all the regulars, The Guardian, and so forth, they all reported on it that Russia did hit back pretty hard on Ukraine and killed about 5 people, I think, injured about 120 others. Hit them pretty hard with all kinds of different weaponry. Canadian Prepper on his Prepper News channel. He reported on it, um, you know, as well as other topics and subjects on his channel. Um, so, I, I guess one of the main reasons I can't sleep is because I guess it kind of disturbed me to a certain extent, disturbed my spirit, I guess you could say. Kind of kept me awake because I was wondering if this was going to happen. I mentioned that before in previous videos or whatever. I was just wondering. I said, is June 6th going to be the day? And I haven't heard of anybody making any correlation. Maybe they think it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. One doesn't have to do with the other. It doesn't correlate in any way. But I haven't heard anybody else talk about June 6th. Honestly, um, maybe like I said, maybe they just think it's irrelevant. It's meaningless. And you know what? Quite frankly, maybe it is. Maybe it is because I wouldn't call this retaliation attack on Ukraine uh like any type of it can't be compared to the Allied forces invasion on D-Day, landing on Omaha Beach or Utah Beach and having paratroopers scattered all throughout France, Normandy, and other areas that I can't even pronounce the names of the towns, the cities, or whatever. Cartenon, I think, was one of them, or whatever. I don't know. But just paratroopers scattered it throughout, not even being able to find their units or their platoons or what have you. I wouldn't compare that to this, but I just find the timing of it interesting. That's all I've been saying all along. I just find the timing interesting. So I'm not incredibly surprised. I told people that contacted me, they said, hey, June 6th could be it. You could be right. Well, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I didn't know. But I'm not incredibly surprised by this because people do know history, and whether it was going to be June 6th, June 7th, June 8th, whatever, or later on down the road, June 6th just has that connotation to it, for lack of a better term. I don't know. And people might even look into the number 6 6 or whatever else, number of band, blah, blah, whatever. Okay. All I know is just in my heart, in my mind, the things I study, the things I research, it just made sense to me. Just made logical sense to me. And I just try to be as logical as I can be about a lot of things in my life. It's served me well. Being logical has served me well. Being rational, being reasonable, just being a student of history, knowing certain things and when they have occurred, it just helps me. It just helps me to kind of anticipate what may happen and to kind of be prepared for it. So honestly, I tried to go to bed hours ago, tried to go to sleep hours ago, but then something happened. I get a notification on my phone from the Rumble channel, and I don't always get notifications from Rumble, but I noticed the Hagman report was on, and Steve Quayle was the guest on the Hagman report. And I've noticed that before. Doug Hagman has a lot of different guests on and so forth. And a lot of times I ignore it because I know it's going to be really long. And I did. For the longest time, I was just like, okay, whatever. I mean, these are like 2-3 hour shows or whatever, right? So, but I just, I just felt like I wanted to check this out because I figured, you know what? Maybe they're going to talk about something regarding this. Maybe they know something I don't, or maybe something's going to go down during the report, during the live interview with Steve Quayle. And sure enough, I just checked it out. And it was live, but it had been going on for quite a while. But I just happened to click on it, and they were talking about what had just gone down in Ukraine, in Kiev, in the outlying cities or whatever, outlying areas. And they had live footage. They had the attack, what was occurring. I was like, whoa. And so I guess it was about 4:30 in the morning, June 6th, when this started going down. So uh, it's, I don't know what time it is there now. I guess early afternoon or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, uh, I was like, whoa, okay. So who else is reporting on this? So now I'm intrigued, because I'm like, it actually happened. They didn't wait till Saturday or Sunday or next week. They did it on June 6th. So I'm like, wow, okay. So that's when I started looking it up and other sources and abcnews.com or abcnewsgo.com or whatever, or CNN, BBC, Guardian, New York Times. Hal Turner didn't have a lot on it, but he had a little bit as well. So I was just like, wow, okay, here we go. Now, is this going to continue or is this it? I don't know. And the interesting thing to me is about it is, I'll get into this in a second, but I don't want to get off track. But the interesting thing to me about this is there's that huge distraction with Trump and Musk now. I mean, just like as the stomach turns soap opera, you know, Jerry Springer WWE like nonsense. I mean, just a distraction and entertaining, I guess, to a certain extent. I don't even know, I don't want to go that far. Just more stupid and immature and childish than anything. And then a thought came to my mind, it's just like, well, there's no honor among thieves, and scum attracts scum and all that. Those thoughts came to my mind. I shared the Florida Maquis video on it, and I'm just like, yeah, what do you expect here, okay? I mean, come on. But I started thinking, I was like, you know what? If they were real men, I was like, why don't you just put on some boxing gloves and go into a ring and just duke it out, okay? I mean, if this is real at all, okay? I mean, which I seriously doubt it is. I think it's just a huge distraction to take away from the important things going on in the world and the things that people need to be aware of and know about. I think that's what it is more than anything. That's my opinion on it, right? But I'm like, yeah, just let them duke it out. I mean, have a pay-per-view event or whatever, and just beat each other to a pulp in a boxing ring. Couldn't be any worse than the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. I mean, I mean seriously, because it's a joke, it's a circus, it's a clown show anyway. So hey, just go ahead and put on the event. Just let everybody be spectators and just watch these two just beat each other to a pulp. Why not? I mean, seriously, why not? Bread and circuses, yeah. I mean, that's what they give us anyway. So, hey, might as well go all out. Go big or go home kind of thing, right? I mean, seriously, it's a joke, right? So it's a huge distraction, in my opinion, from everything that's going on. Because, in all seriousness, now, when I talked about D Day and the importance of June 6, 1944, and so forth, I wasn't just like talking out of my butt, for lack of a better term, okay? I mean, seriously. I researched, I studied, I listened to interviews, I listened to men who have likely passed now from years ago being interviewed on D Day, about D Day, excuse me, the invasion, uh, the Allied invasion in Normandy, France, and like I said, on Omaha Beach and Utah Beach and so forth. I listened to the actual men that paratrooped in and so parachuted in and so forth, and their experiences and what it was like and what they talked about. And the very interesting thing about that to me personally was it wasn't just that day, it was D Day plus. See, that was a horrific day, but that was just the beginning of coming on the beaches and, like I said, them being scattered throughout the area or whatever. And once they could find their units once again and be joined back with their units and platoons or whatever, the war continued. Actually, it continued a long time afterwards. So it didn't just stop you know, on D Day or just a few days after D Day. I mean, it continued for a long time. People know anything about World War II and how it ended and so forth and when it ended. So it was like D Day plus, D Day plus 2, D Day plus 8, D Day plus 25, whatever it was. So I don't know if that's going to be a similar thing here, or does it just kind of stop for now? I don't know. My instincts tell me no, because when you got your enemies on the ropes, you go in and you just keep hammering them. You just that's the way I see it anyway. Okay, when you got them on the ropes, you just keep hammering them. Okay, the objective is to win. The uh, you hit them harder than they hit you. You use more weaponry than they used against you. You make it hurt. And you do what you have to do to win. That's war. That's that's just the way it is, okay? So whether people like it, don't like it, agree with it, don't agree with it, talk to a combat veteran. That's all I can tell you. That's war. Okay, yes, there are rules of engagement. Yes, there's a Geneva Convention. Yes, there's a Uniform Code of Military Justice. The thing about the Geneva Convention is really there's very few countries that actually follow it. Okay, I mean, yes, there are those things, but ultimately it's war. You know, So that's the thing about this. So when they throw these other distractions out there, Trump versus Musk and blah, 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 and whatever, okay? I don't even want to get into all of it. It's just ridiculous, okay? Here's what's not ridiculous: loss of life, okay? Uh, People being injured, whether, they're combatants, non combatants, civilians, women, children, and so forth. That's serious. That's what's important. That's what gets missed in all of this. Lives are lost, souls are lost. People go into eternity, whether it's 5 people or 500 people. Death is death, all right? And the loss of life it is nothing to laugh about. It's nothing that's funny, all right? And when you have loss of life and when you have injuries and horrific injuries, I don't know the extent of the injuries or whatnot, but that is not a laughing matter. Okay, that's not a joking matter. And I think that's what gets lost in all of this. So the ridiculous distractions, that's what I said, that's what I truly believe that they are, in my opinion, in my heart. That's what I believe what this is. I believe it's a distraction more than anything else, because the MAGA cult will focus on this. uh, the people that either support Trump, Musk, or whatever, they will be involved in all of this. They will pick sides. They will, support whatever it is they're going to support, because they're not rational. These MAGA cult people or whatever, they're not rational. They're not reasonable. They don't think clearly. It's like they literally are part of the song Cult of Personality by Living Color. People are familiar with that song. Very, very rockin', hard rockin' song. But the lyrics of the song, and they just remastered it a couple of years ago too. The Cult of Personality. I even did a video on it on the other channel a long time back. I told people that, hey, this dude, okay, the dude that's president now, he's part of the cult of personality. I try to tell people that a long time ago. This is what the song is about: the cult of personality, these godlike figures that people put up on pedestals and they worship them, or they say, well, we don't worship. Okay, whatever. Great admiration, putting them up on pedestals. They can do no wrong, or whatever wrong they do is excused. They're a cult of personality. you know Everybody's enamored by them, or a lot of people are enamored by them. uh, that's what the song is about. And it mentions people like Stalin and Mussolini and Kennedy and so forth. A cult of personality. you know Check out the lyrics of the song if you want. You'll see what I'm talking about. They make them godlike figures. That's what people have done, and that's what they continue to do. And that's why MAGA is a cult. That's exactly what it is. I don't care if I'm offending people or hurting people's feelings. I don't care. It's the truth. It's a cult. All right. It's to the point where people have lost their minds. They make excuses for a 78-year-old man, like he doesn't know any better. Like he's supposed to just be given a free pass on everything. I've never seen anything like it in my life, where people can just make such excuses. Well, he just didn't know this. They're keeping him in the dark. They didn't inform him. He wasn't aware. Da da da. I'm just like, this is insanity. Is like, could you make those kind of excuses in your own personal life, with your family, with your boss? Would that fly, to be so ignorant uh, all the time? Well, just give me a free pass. I don't know any better. I'm just a, I'm a little boy in a man's body, I just don't know any better. I was never taught any better, Well, I wasn't raised that, right, or whatever lame excuse people have. I mean, it's like, my gosh, be a man, be a woman. What in the world is wrong with people? It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me how people make such excuses for their godlike heroes, for their idols, for the people that they put up on pedestals. I don't get it. And so it's just a huge distraction. In the meanwhile, in the real world, people are dying, people are being injured, people are losing their jobs, they're losing their livelihoods, they're losing their families, they're losing everything. The system is crumbling. It's all falling apart. Our infrastructure, it's all falling apart. Our society is crumbling, and people are being humbled. I know about that firsthand. Big time humbled. Uh, and you know what? It's deserved because they've treated people like garbage, and they've hurt people, and they walk around so pious and self-righteous and holier than thou, and now they're being humbled, and there's great exposure happening. It's happening all the time. Big names in ministry or whatever else, in business and industry, whatever. People are being exposed, they're being humbled because the Lord's done playing games. Not saying he was to begin with, but I mean, he's just like, man, I'm done with this. I'm going to expose you people. I am going to humble you. I'm going to bring you down about 1,000 pegs. I mean, you're going down, and if people have their eyes open and they're paying attention, they're seeing it. They're seeing it, and even just in the just regular everyday life, I see people being treated like gods. I mean, literally. It's just like, don't bother me, I'm too good to be bothered, kind of thing. I mean, it's just like, don't just, you're just not worthy to talk to me, or whatever the case may be. I mean, it's insanity. The narcissism, the arrogance, the pride that people have is just like, do not bother us, do not bother me with this or that. And it's just like, my gosh, who made you king, queen of the world, And some people know what I'm talking about because you deal with this in your jobs, you deal with this in your life, you deal with this in your relationships. Other people are just like, what in the world are you talking about? I don't have any, I don't deal with any of this. Consider yourself fortunate. That's all I can say. Because those of us in the workforce, or those of us that are in Babylon on a daily basis, we deal with this, we see it, we experience it, and it's insanity. So again, but it's all distraction, because eventually all this stuff that's happening over there, it's gonna come here. It will. I don't know when, but eventually. Because nothing happens in a vacuum. It's all going to come here on our shores eventually. And so right now, people are like watching it, kind of like, you can see live streams, or you can see footage of attacks, or you can see whatever they're reporting, on the news, the media, social media, whatever. And it's all happening over there. So it's not affecting us here yet. The blackouts in Iran, it's happening in Iran. What's happening in Kiev and Ukraine and Russia, that's all happening there. It's not happening here yet. So people go on about their everyday life and they're not too concerned and they're just, dumb de dum de dum, whatever, just going on and doing what they got to do, taking care of business, to each their own, handling whatever they got to handle. But eventually it's going to come here. Eventually. And when it does, then it's real. Then it gets real. When it's on our shores, when it's on our coastlines, you know. And in a lot of ways, it kind of has come here. Did you guys hear about the 13 states that just wants to go to electrical vehicles? Do you know how, how many electrical stations, if everybody's driving a Tesla or an electrical vehicle or whatever, what are they going to do? Replace all the gas stations with electrical stations to plug in your car? This is crazy. This is insanity. How is this going to work? How does this happen without people losing their minds? Let me tell you something about electrical vehicles because I drove one for a while. All right. They're not that great. Okay. They're not any, they might be a little smoother ride, but you can't go that fast. On a lot of them, you can't go that fast. And if you do, well, it's like any battery. I mean, if you use it up, you got to recharge it, right? So it's not going to work. I don't see how it can possibly work. That could cause a civil war right there. That could cause riots right there when you force people to have to buy electrical vehicles or have to go electric and get rid of gas stations, get rid of gas pumps, get rid of gas powered vehicles or gas vehicles. How does this happen? 13 states are on board with this. I don't even want to know what the states are. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. I couldn't care less. I don't even want to know. It's kind of like when people attack me or my friends. I don't even want to know. Please, you don't need to send me an email, or if you have my phone number, text me and let me know that people are attacking me or the people I care about. I don't even want to know anymore. I don't want to know. Please, just keep that to yourself. Please. Don't give in to the temptation of letting me know. I don't need to know and I don't want to know. You know why? Because it's stupid. It's ridiculous. And they are digging their own grave. And they're burying themselves. Just let them bury themselves and dig their own grave. I don't even want to know. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, about certain things. Not a lot of things, but about certain things. And with the states that are dumb enough to do this and the governors that are dumb enough to allow their states to go this direction, man, we deserve the leadership, so-called leadership we have. We deserve the governors or the mayors or whatever else we have. Okay. And like I said before, my last video, we don't have leadership anymore. We haven't had leadership for a long, long, long time. Not. I mean, it should be proven by now. It should be proven by now. People getting Twitter or X wars or whatever war, or social media war or whatever else. It should be. It's childish. It's immature. It's stupid. It's not professionalism. Sure as heck isn't presidential. It's ridiculous. We're a laughing stock of the world, and we deserve to be. I mean, our enemies have to be laughing their butts off. I mean, are you kidding me? They got to be saying, "Oh my gosh, what has happened to America? What is wrong with these people? Wow, this is crazy." Especially this month. You hear about Schenectady, New York? The freak show already started in Schenectady, New York. Look it up. Bunch of freaks, bunch of perverts. Look it up. I mean, the freak show's already started and we're barely into June. That's why I said happy pansy month, because I'm tired of it, fed up with it. Because while some people are going to be at war or are at war or whatever else, a bunch of freaks are going to be out there flaunting their nudity and stupidity, in the streets and corrupting our children, and just being a bunch of sodomites, and that's acceptable, and people are going to cheer that on. And man, I just had a thought, boy, you talk about a Sodom and Gomorrah like moment. I wonder if it's time for that. I wonder if God just like, you know what? I'm just going to let the fire and the hail just fall, on these parades. I'm so sick of it. I'm just going to let the fire and hail fall. I wonder. Probably not. Probably not. But I just had to throw that out there. I just had that thought. Sodom and Gomorrah like parades, just let the fire and the hail fall. But probably not. But anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and go now. But D Day Plus, man. That's all I can say. It's not just one day, one event. It's D Day Plus. Check out Band of Brothers, the book by Stephen Ambrose, or the television show. He actually executively produced it, so I guess he wanted to make it as much like his book, as he could. So he got involved in, the production of it or whatever. Because in the very beginning, of episodes, they actually interview the men that literally were involved in the D-Day or the war itself, and they tell their stories just briefly. They're being interviewed. And it was D-Day Plus. It wasn't just one day, one event, one battle, one fight. It's D-Day Plus. So keep the plus in mind, because I think that's what's going to happen. There may be a lull here and there, a few days off, maybe a few weeks off, and then all of a sudden, boom, it hits again. Unexpectedly, shockingly, surprisingly, hits again. That's war. That's how it happens. It's unexpected. It's like 23 hours of sheer boredom while you're there, and then 1 hour of sheer hell, and where you're fighting for your life. And sometimes it might be a lot more hours than just that, where you're literally fighting for your life. I can't explain it. You have to experience it. It's impossible to explain. You just have to experience it, and unfortunately, I think we will eventually. So, okay, that's it. Um, Hope y'all got something out of this. And now I'm gonna try to sleep because I gotta get some sleep. I tried. I tried earlier. It just wasn't happening, but maybe now. We'll see. All right, y'all take care. God bless each and every one of you and your families. And I'll talk to you some other time. All right, bye bye.